It's time for the Dummy Thicc Gamer Show.
Is any of that usable? Let's see.
Why is chat so large now? I'm just gonna shrink that down a little bit. What's up,
bud?
What
are we shrinking down?
My penis. No, chat.
Yes,
yeah,
that's true. That's very true. Not much, man. How's it going?
Oh, you know, just sitting here, just sitting, as I do,
man.
as I do.
Have we noticed an upstated quality from the streaming end? From
have
my
we?
Side?
I don't really notice anything different.
Because your boy is feeling gorgeous. I've got a new webcam. It's a full occasion today. It's very good.
A full occasion.
It's a full occasion. I put pants on for the stream today.
You look crisp. You put pants on.
I'm wearing pants this week, so
I'm noticing a distinct lack of pants in your camera, though. So how can we be sure?
You'll just have to take my word for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, so much has happened in the last week. You and I have been watching Raised by Wolves, first of all. Did we start that
where are you in that show?
I think I'm on episode 6. I'm on episode 6.
You made good progress. I just finished 8 this morning, so we're kind of roughly in the same place. I got 2 more to go.
Absolutely wild.
Fucking crazy show, dude.
Completely wild.
I love it.
You guys have been sleeping on Raised by Wolves. This has kind of been like our show. Jake and I normally pick a show like, and we do it kind of without intending to. Like one of us will text the other person like, dude, you should check out this show after we like watch one episode, and then we inevitably just like watch through the whole thing together, I guess.
Or we just end up completely ignoring our best friend's suggestion and derailing into like cold. New Girl or something.
Yeah, it's very hot or cold, but we did this with Devs, and we both liked Devs a lot. We're on that Ridley Scott Raised by Wolves tip. And
that was why I think you followed up on my suggestion, is because you just finished the Alien movies, and those are like still incredible sci-fi movies just from the aesthetic standpoint and what he does with just the cinematography and the color palette and all that shit. It just oozes coolness, and Raised by Wolves is no different. I think
if I weren't so heavily tied to Star Wars with nostalgia, I think I would purely just be like a Ridley Scott Aliens kid, because I think that Star Wars caught me earlier than Aliens did, but I think if Aliens had caught me earlier, I would have been just all in on Aliens. It's so good.
So where are you at right now with Raised by Wolves? Are you digging it? Are you?
I love it. I really love it. I'm happy that it's cool to me that Ridley was able to make this series after having so sort of like completely fleshed out the Alien franchise, that he was able to go like still sci-fi, but be able to make kind of like we've been describing it as kind of like retro sci-fi, like the way that everything looks.
Yeah. The 2 androids in this show have like they start with like these really weird like cone-shaped helmets that perfectly like it's just weird. Like it's that weird retro sci-fi aesthetic that sort of mixes with like more modern stuff.
Sci-fi from like the 50s and 60s in like a comic book is what it looks like, and it just, the entire tone of the show is so good. You can't quite nail who you're supposed to like yet, and I'm like 6 episodes in on the first season, and I'm still waffling between like who I care for. And I think that that's actually good writing, because it flows from episode to episode. So it's called depth, honey. It's called depth. Look
the quote unquote like villain in it. I don't know who plays him, but he does an incredible job. I love the villain in this show. Like
you're saying
he's
him.
Nuanced.
You're saying him, and I don't necessarily know that he's the villain. And I know who you're talking about.
Are we talking about the same guy? The guy with the mullet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know him as a villain yet, so we'll have to see if you're.
I mean, it feels like they. I mean, I think like he's so good because he isn't just like a straight up like, oh, this guy is evil, you know. At least not in the point where you're currently watching, but it was pretty clear to me that he was being set up to be a villain. Anyway, it's a really good show. We're really enjoying it. If you're into really sick, really cool sci-fi stuff, Raised by Wolves on HBO. Soundtrack, the
killer. Killer soundtrack.
So good. Mwah, chef kiss. So great. So we've been watching Raised by Wolves. There's a ton of stuff in the news this week, brother.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So BlizzCon happened. Nintendo Direct happened.
Oh wait, let's start with the Mortal Kombat shit, dude.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
We got a new Mortal Kombat trailer,
and I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Let me pull it up.
How do we want to do this?
Let's watch it together because you haven't seen it yet. So I'll pull it up on my end. You pull it up on your end, and we'll count down to 3, and we'll press play.
All right, I've got the IGN trailer.
I hope I'm capturing the right screen here. I am. Okay, cool.
All right, I've got the IGN trailer pulled up.
Mortal Kombat.
Watch me like accidentally find some sort of like fan-made knockoff, and that's the one I watch.
Has a purpose. We are destined.
Or you end up watching the trailer like the old combat movies.
Yeah. This looks awful.
Shitty. What?
This looks terrible. Why would they do? Why is Arnold in this? What? This is stupid.
All right, so I am ready when you are, brother.
Yep, I'll count us down. We'll go 3, 2, 1, click. I have the. You know that it's going to be a good trailer when they've got like the R-rated red screen.
Oh
yeah. There's gonna be some dirty words in this trailer. Ooh, I like all of the Frozen.
When we got there,
ooh. This is obviously a callback to Incredibles, where Frozone freezes the bullet. Oh God! Oh!
Yeah.
He shattered his arm.
Straight up shattered this guy's arm.
Same marking you do.
Oh. Broski.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
Cool. He's a bird. It's a bird.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
It's this birthmark that looks exactly like a Chinese dragon symbol. Yeah.
Reference a great
It's a birthmark.
Of champions. That dragon marking.
I want some Tobbies. This 2021 is gonna be the year I buy some Tobbies.
Ooh. Let's go.
Mortal Kombat.
Dude. I didn't know that you were supposed to like tie stuff to the little the shuriken things, like the kunais. That's cool. Fire looks pretty decent.
Good looking fire. Good looking
fire. Kung Lao, yeah.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground,
yes,
we will not fail.
Shao Kahn. Oh God. Bruh.
It's a good trailer, dude.
Oh, rad. Dude. My favorite part is where Sub-Zero looks into the camera and says,
This is Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 2021. No, this is rad.
Get over here.
Oh, he said, get over. He said the thing.
He said the thing. That's what Sub-Zero says.
That's what he says.
Or not Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Fucking beauty.
Yeah.
There's a bad word in the trailer. Look at that. Those red trailers for you.
Those red bands, they'll get you.
Get your kiddos out of the room.
Fucking crazy, dude.
Word. Yes.
Is.
I'm actually pumped about this now.
I know.
Yeah,
like it's
right.
not often. Like when we saw the trailer for Monster Hunter. That was a case where it was like, this looks awful. This is gonna be bad. You know that it's gonna be bad.
For better or worse, the expectations were set.
Yeah. Well, you knew instantly that like these people don't appear to be paying much respect to like the source material or the game itself, and that automatically like you're alienating the one fan base that is like going to watch your movie, right?
That you're guaranteed for it.
Yeah. So that movie was doomed from the start almost. But this looks like a ton of fun. It looks like they're paying respect to the source material somewhat. I'm not coming from a place where like I'm a super big MK fan. I'm not a big fighting game person in general. But just from the standpoint of like I enjoy watching movies, Like, this looks like a good movie. This looks like a lot of fun. This looks like a movie that I would want to see. So,
yeah,
I'm stoked for this.
That's solid. That is solid. So, I have a special place in my heart for Mortal Kombat. I'm not a person who's played like every single Mortal Kombat, and I definitely would get my butt kicked by like a casual player at this game. But there was a stretch in my junior year of college where a buddy of mine had Mortal Kombat 10 on his Xbox.
Yeah.
And just as we started this on a Saturday, right? This was like during the fall semester. And we got up to Shao Kahn and we were playing it on like the hardest difficulty. He and I could not beat Shao Kahn, like at all. So it became this thing for like 2 weeks straight. We kept trying to beat Shao Kahn to the point where on his hall, people would walk in and it was like known that 2 goobers were in there trying to beat Shao Kahn. And when we finally did it, there had been like 5 other dudes that came in to like watch us. And I beat Shao Kahn and it was like the craziest. It was probably one of the more like funny, like just overhyped moments of my life gaming. Cause it was just like, it was really cool.
Literally the only memory I have of playing fighting games was playing Soul Calibur something with you, playing as Yoda, and you were, and me not knowing anything about like combos or how to play a fighting game or how to counter.
I was trying to beat you down with Killick, and you absolutely just like smushed your little fingies on the Xbox buttons. And Yoda is so small, his hitbox is so small, that when I was trying to like whack you with my longbow, like it was just nothing was gonna happen. So yeah, I don't have positive memories of that.
And if you remember, like you were genuinely getting quite peeved at this, and
to this day, I have not been as mad at you as I was then. Like 10 years later, that was the maddest at you I've ever been. Like,
what gets me is that you kept coming back for more. Like you kept trying to like prove to yourself
I needed
that
to beat you. I needed to beat you.
You can do it, and I kept smacking you with Yoda, just with the exact same strategy of not having one. Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah, but that's kind of the beauty of fighting games, is that you'll have people who are super sweaty at it be good 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But no one can stand up for just the dumb luck that the universe gives button mashers in games like that. So it's beautiful. I think it's the great equalizer, fighting games. So
True.
Combat movie, I think that'll be cool.
I think
like
it looks fun. I'm on board. This is the dawn of good video game movies.
I'm more hyped for this than I am the Snyder cut of the Joker film.
Oh my god! Like, I forgot that also happened.
We live in a society, Batman.
Just a total. We are living in an alternate dimension. Like the fact that we have memed Joker into saying that is beautiful to me. I love it so much.
I have never been less excited to see a movie, I think. If you're a DC fan and you're stoked for this, more power to you. Have fun. This is your thing. Cool.
We're not here to poo-poo on your parade.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be better. It's just not. There's no way. Like, it doesn't look like that good of a time to me. I don't know. But just the fact they fucking put in the Joker at the end of it, and he literally said we live in a society. I mean, they had to have known what they were doing, right? They had to have been aware of the meme. Surely.
You would think.
It had to have been like a marketing thing.
I mean, we're talking about it, and we're on a podcast, so we matter. So the marketing campaign succeeded. They did it. They had a meeting over at DC, like, how are we going to get the Dummy Thicc crew talking about this new awful movie we're making?
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat trailer looks good. I guess we can credit Sonic for starting this new era that we're seeing, and I'm all for it. I hope we get actual good video game movies where people actually pay respect to the source material and continue to do that. Speaking of video games branching out into other mediums.
Yes.
Did you see the news that I posted in the Discord like twice that Bungie is tripling in size?
Yeah, I did see that. They're getting big. They're doing big things. Whatever that means for us is I don't know. Maybe they're making Curse of Osiris 2.
Stop. Stop. Cease. Let me pull. I had this thing pulled up, and now I closed out of it for some reason.
To expand the Destiny IP and bring new stories and experiences to their highly engaged community, Bungie appointed Mark Noseworthy. His name is Noseworthy, Vice President of Destiny Universe, and Luke Smith.
He's a prominent person in the
and prepare for the expansion of Destiny Universe into additional media. That means a TV show on a streaming service. Yes, that's what we're hearing.
That's from what a lot of people are assuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes. Cool. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Idris Elba plays Shaxx.
Yeah.
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 I play Tess Eververse.
He should play Lord Saladin, actually, because the skin tones match. Can I say that?
Gamer moment.
Bruh. Bruh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess Shaxx could be black. We haven't seen his face.
It's frankly more racist that
shut up. Idris Elba would make sense to play Lord Saladin.
Did you just call him Idris?
Is that not his name? Idris?
Yeah.
God damn it. God damn it.
You're like, first of all,
Close the stream!
You're like, first of all, look, there's no black people in the Destiny universe. Second of all, it's Idris Elba.
Ikora? There are two black people. So I'm stoked for this. The implications for this, of what it can mean for Destiny, I mean, I think it's obvious. They are planning on continuing the lifespan of Destiny for all intents and purposes. You know, like we speculated on this podcast before, that that Destiny is going to become the sort of the WoW of the looter shooter sort of space. Like they are positioned that way, and I think it only makes sense with all the shit that this game gets pushed to the side. Like this game is here to stay, and the fact that they are tripling in size to support Destiny is, I think, a proof of that they're not pulling people off of this property for new IPs, which is what we see a lot of times. And then the fact that they're bringing in like outside talent from CBS, I guess, to I think this has to mean that we're looking down the barrel of a gun for either a Bungie TV show or a movie. Who knows? Who knows? I'm stoked for all this though. To a Destiny fan, this is good news.
And we have precedent for Bungie expanding into like TV material with all of like the very successful Halo 2 and Halo 3 ads, if you remember those, where like they had the veterans from the Spartan Wars and like the veterans from the campaign against the Covenant, and they did like this full cinematic. And do you remember like the ODST trailers?
Of course.
Yeah, like those.
I doubt that those were done by Bungie, but.
Well, what I'm saying is like it was Bungie IP that they made into like a movie sort of cinematic thing, and those were incredible. So if the Bungie Destiny universe can look anything like that, I'm all in. I mean, like if anything, I think that could rope in players on a level and get them invested in the universe without having them had played Destiny 1, right? Because I'm coming at it from playing Destiny 1, and I'm interested in the story, but I think a TV show would do a lot to get me back into it. I'm interested. I'm willing to follow up what's happening if the plot was discernible at all. But like that's if they were able. It very
much is. It is very much approachable now.
If they were able to condense it into a streaming show, I think that would be really cool. I think they could do a lot to do that. So yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that.
From this article, in material terms, the expansion includes a big new HQ office. That's catch me if you've already read this. I know you read some part of this, but I don't think you read this.
No, you're good.
A big new HQ office that sounds effectively
I have read this.
Mini. You did?
I'm kidding. No, I didn't.
God damn it! You know I'm a bad listener. You know this. Big new HQ office that sounds effectively like a mini college campus. An international office in Amsterdam focused on publishing and marketing, and new people brought on board at the executive and board of directors level, including the appointment of former Viacom CBS. You have read this because you read the CBS bit. God damn it! God damn.
Oh. No, this part, they just say, Jake, they say the same thing more than once in an article. They're allowed to do that. Yeah.
Which part of it did you read then? All right, I'm psyched out now. I'm not reading it.
Well, you saw that they like brought in a guy from Viacom CBS, like consumer products. So that means like physical media probably. Like they're going to be releasing like collectibles, I guess. I don't know. Like I realized that consumer products can mean a lot, but I think it's going to be kind of neat. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Follow its career.
The official Dummy Thicc verdict on this news: kind of neat.
Kind of neat. Well, I mean, I should not be the one that delivers the final verdict.
That's kind of my take too. It's kind of neat, you know. It's nice to see that they're continuing to support this thing, and that it's not bleeding support off of Destiny onto new IPs. Like they are planning on continuing the Destiny universe, possibly beyond the sort of 5-year goal that they've already set. Cool beans. Yeah, good for them. You know, good for them.
I'm fine with it. Yeah, I think that I welcome more good streaming shows because there needs to be more of them. So,
agreed. What do you want to talk about next?
Well, we kind of dipped into a little bit of the subject matter talking about companies sort of robbing from one IP to sort of boost the other one. The big BlizzCon sort of darling of that was Overwatch 2. And you and I both kind of are, if I gauged our reactions right, kind of pumped about this.
I'm super excited now.
Yeah, so there were a lot of things in this massive, I mean, like I watched the 40-minute thing again today, talking about the rework from just the design standpoint, which I actually want to talk about in a little bit. But the idea of taking a game that's previously just been like a total sweat fest and making a more like casual PVE mode is the coolest thing I could see. That's kind of the standout thing for me. But basically the Cliff Note version is that Overwatch 2 is on its way. We still don't know when yet. Conservative estimates are 2022.
No release date.
But it looked amazing to me.
Which honestly, like, kind of shocked me because from what we saw in what they showed off in the nearly hour of gameplay, it looked pretty far along to me.
Yeah, definitely.
It seems like they have a pretty good idea of the kind of modes that they're putting in. The PVE stuff seems to be pretty nailed down. They showed off like a couple of new maps. They showed off a new hero, this Sojourn, I think her name is. The first black woman in Overwatch 2, you know, so that's a thing. I know Overwatch fan. I see you smirking. What do you want to say?
I'm not. It's wonderful. More representation in our cartoons.
I mean, it is kind of bullshit that like
shooters.
that Blizz keeps like putting in fucking like robot rats, right? But then
there are 3 Blizz characters and none of them have ever been a black woman. So I mean, like, great. Now you can be a mediocre surface level character just as much as we are. That's great. Wonderful.
Yeah. So. Specifically, I want to talk about the PvE stuff because, like, coming off of Overwatch 1, like, and getting, like, the arcade stuff, and just generally, like, anytime they put in other enemies to fight in, like, the arcade modes, never really felt that fun. Like, the AI was kind of, you know, not great. And it just wasn't fun to play. And so coming into Overwatch 2 and hearing that there was going to be PvE in this game, I was like, okay, like, cool, I guess, but like, the idea of an Overwatch like campaign didn't excite me because it felt like I was like, okay, so we're gonna get, you know, at best, a campaign that's set in like the maps that are already there, you know,
right? Yeah,
and that's not the case. So like, we're getting an actual campaign with maps and stuff that are built specifically for the campaign itself that you won't see,
right?
Or I shouldn't say that you won't see ever as maps in multiplayer, but they're specifically tailored for the campaign itself. So that's super dope. They completely reworked like the enemy types. Like there's a ton of like variety with the enemies themselves. There's different like degradation states, damage states that the enemies can get in. There's like a ton of different types. They showed off one that has like this bomb on its back that will like detonate. There's a ton of like these like really weird like rat creature thing. I don't know how you would even describe them, but they're super like quick moving. They're very fast.
Yeah.
They showed off like a witch thing that can like
the like cyber witch wraith kind of thing is so cool to me. I think that is a really neat concept. And you're getting at a lot of things that it seems very obvious that this is a sort of rebuild from the ground up and not necessarily like things that they would just port into an already existing game. Having met and known some people who work just in both, like, I mean, we have Forrest in the Discord who works on games, but like even just having a base kindergarten level understanding of programming now, I know that it's sometimes harder to build off of an already existing system than it is to just start from zero and work up on a new thing. So I think that that's clearly what they're doing with this. And I know that they've left Overwatch in its current state
it's kind of on life support.
It's a little bit on life support in terms of like new content. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Carter, who plays it pretty consistently, and he's talked about how at least his wing of the community is upset because they've felt neglected for about a year. They've just keep recycling new events. And to that I say, like, yeah, that's not fun. But at the same time, like, knowing
I think it's fair. Like, it feels bad for people that are like actively playing Overwatch. I think it's fair to expect some level of support. And like, I'm not attached to this game currently at all. So if there's truly like they've just kind of cut off sort of updates and like quality of life stuff, that sucks. Like, this game is still relatively active, I would assume. So yeah, I would imagine if you're a hardcore player, that doesn't feel good, to know that most of the team has been siphoned off to Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that being said, though, Carter's main concern was that they were going to leave, they were going to like lose fans over this, and people would leave the franchise. And I don't necessarily know that that's true.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree
because I think that anyone that would leave over the game not being updated as much as they would want now, they would definitely return when Overwatch 2 does drop. And I think that even if they don't return, there's going to be more new people coming in on vanilla Overwatch 2 to make up for that. Yeah. I think that Blizzard is definitely smart enough to make those calculations and make that bet. So I don't know why they would be worried about that. I do think, though, that it has to kind of suck to like know that they're working on this thing. They haven't really released a release date for it yet. And you just kind of have to work with what you got now, which... I mean, again, neither of us play Overwatch in its current state, so we're kind of like, we don't have skin in the game. But I can understand some frustration, like having a game on life support and then seeing this, like, oh, y'all are working on this, huh? Isn't there anything we could get now from it, right?
Yeah, and like, I understand that, but I don't know. Like, I feel like game devs are allowed to sort of do whatever they think is best for the creative longevity of their own property, So yeah. I think, I don't know, like, we can sit here and speculate. Maybe they could have added this into Overwatch and like the existing Overwatch game instead of rebuilding it from the groundwork and repackaging everything into Overwatch 2. Maybe, possibly, or maybe that wasn't realistically feasible for what they are working with. Maybe the only path forward and the best path forward is starting from ground zero again, like starting from scratch, building a better platform. That's what Destiny had to do. That's what Bungie had to do with Destiny 2. And there was a lot of like the same exact argument, the same exact griping from the hardcore player base that was like, dude, I don't understand why you can't just keep tacking on. Like, why is it necessary to take out all of our guns, take out all of our like whatever, and start from ground zero? And it turned out that was probably the best move in terms of just building a better platform from scratch that you could build on. And now we don't really need a Destiny 3 because the groundwork has already been set. And so I guess my hope is for Overwatch is that it's the same case here.
This is the new platform that they do what you're wanting right now. They build off of this in the future, but they're able to do that from a much better place. And I think that they're setting, I mean, like, the stuff that I geeked out about in this trailer, first of all, was the sound design and what they're doing to sort of capture what they called gun trails, like the sounds.
This was super cool, yeah.
The different environments for the weapons to have like sort of like what is it? It's like scroll. It's they would put context for like different context for the gunfire.
Struggle.
Yeah, like they would provide different context for like the gunfire. Where if you're in a crowded warehouse space,
firing
it sounds different.
Soldier 76's assault rifle in a hallway versus outdoors versus in like a warehouse. Versus,
it should sound different. Yeah,
it all sounds different, and that's not something that we had in Overwatch 1.
Right.
So it's like. And that
it adds a layer of depth to it to where it feels a lot better. Like, even watching it in the trailer, I can remember feeling like Overwatch gun sounds were kind of meh. And that's coming from me who, like, I enjoyed the game, but the gun sounds always kind of sounded very cartoony and not great. So I really like that they're doing that. They're adding, like, a subtle camera shake to when you're firing, which is kind of cool. I mean, they really are starting from ground zero. And I think that you have to appreciate that. Like, they're making
I'm
a
not
new
going to say
product
that like the stuff that we're talking about right now isn't stuff that they could have put into the base game. But I'm talking like in terms of systems and stuff. I think that stuff is like what might have necessitated an Overwatch 2.
Right.
But, I mean, you're totally right. Just in terms of like quality of life stuff and like the audio improvements and the visual improvements, like it's an excellent coat of paint. I can definitely tell there's updates to like shading, lighting, all that good stuff. There's like they updated there's weather in this now.
Different lighting for different sunsets and stuff. Yeah,
so cool. The skyboxes, the lighting, like they showed off one of the map. I think it was. I'm not gonna try to name an Overwatch map, but I think it was Numani. I think that was it. Whereas
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Oh yeah, and they showed off like a new map. They showed off New York City. They showed off what else did they show off?
It was like
New York was really cool.
Yeah, New York, and then I think Italy or Rome or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think though. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
So one thing that someone joked around with me about was the design, like the redesign for some of the characters, and how they basically added some cyberpunk elements and some what they called themselves techwear elements, like some utilitarian, like we gave Reaper kind of a more hard-lined kit or something. And I think that you're kind of screwed if you do, screwed if you don't situation with that, because
are people really
you don't
like
want
mad about?
Yeah, no, like there are people who are upset about the minimal redesign of the characters, but I also think that if they had
on
gone...
minimal, like very slight alterations to character designs, like adding like a belt loop or some shit. Like,
and people are saying that that's like low effort, but I'm also saying that these same people would be upset.
Got it.
They would be upset if they completely redesigned everyone too. Like they would hate that just as much. And we're not going to pretend like that's not true. So I think that they chose the middle of the road in terms of redesigning existing characters. So and I'm not going to be. I refuse to get mad at them about
these
that.
These are just like the base hero skins. You're probably not going to end up using anyway, because they're going to put in different skins anyway. So like,
that's a good point.
Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad?
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, can we talk about the hero mode or the hero story stuff really quick, because holy crap, that looks cool. So they have this mode where typically Overwatch has had an arcade mode for a while now, but the PvP element, like the squatting up with your team and pushing the objective, is the main course of the game. They're adding this PVE element where you can team up. They're adding skill trees where
the skill trees look expansive.
Yeah, the same character can play differently depending on what you want to prioritize. They're adding a sort of like direction change for Reinhardt's Smash, which seems awesome to me. They're making tanks more like brawler and bruiser fighters. I mean, they're doing a lot, but mainly the PvE thing makes this game accessible to people like you and me who aren't sweaty Overwatch players, but we want to jump in and play this new game with our friends.
Yeah.
And I think that PvE just dials the intensity down a little bit to where if you have a buddy that maybe works a more intense job than you do, who can't play video games all week, it's your Saturday game. Like you can hop in and just kill computer players with them. I love that. We need more of that in multiplayer games.
I would love something like this for Apex.
Yeah, you know? Agreed. Hardcore agreed. Yeah.
If there's any game that needs like an Apex single player type experience, it's freaking Apex.
Right. Yeah. And the reality is that we're maybe not the target audience now as we're creeping into our 30s, but the reality is that if you're playing a PvP game with your friends right now and you have a job or you're not able to play a game every day of the week, you are competing against people who every waking moment of their life is playing this game. That's why I really like the PvE element for us specifically.
I got an ad on my screen to get Among Us for free. Bruh.
I thought Among Us was for free on mobile.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we're just out here running it. Don't click on it, you idiot!
What do I?
Don't!
Brother got Sims 4 on here. Is this free? Grand Theft Auto. I gotta download some of these, dog.
Well, I like how they have Valorant on there, like as if Valorant isn't a free-to-play.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Tangent.
That's great. We're gonna watch Jake get a virus live on his
in real time
on the screen. He's like, "Hello."
Crashes.
You get a phone call like someone needs you to deposit $2,000 in an account to unlock $2 million. But what I was saying is that for people like us who aren't extreme 24/7 PvP players, I like the idea of a PvP or a PvE element. I think that's cool.
No, I'm coming from somebody that was not stoked about Overwatch 2 or PVE in Overwatch 2 before. I am very excited now to try out what they're putting into Overwatch 2, and I think that's what they were banking on with pushing it Overwatch 2 in general. You know, so I think on that basis alone, they've sort of succeeded. I think that was enough of a reason to not just continue tacking on to the base game.
Yeah,
knowing that it would get people like us stoked again about playing Overwatch. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think they definitely hit a good pacing with this. So I am bummed that we're seeing all of this. I have trepidations on being excited for a game after Cyberpunk broke my heart after seeing like what they were going to do and then what the actual realized product was. But I think I'm going to let myself get a little excited.
I mean, this is like very much in their wheelhouse, though. It's not like they're
yes.
It's not like they're pivoting and doing something entirely different.
Right.
We don't really have a reason, I guess, to be trepidatious about an Overwatch 2 when it's like already building on the existing framework of something that we know works, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I want that to be true. So yes, I'm going to let myself be excited.
I'm not saying that
this.
they can't fuck it up, because they definitely can. There's an unlimited amount of ways and things that can go wrong before this game actually comes out. Don't hear that. Like, and we already know. This is where
the Always Sunny like title card rolls in. Like.
Yeah, for sure. And Damien did remind me earlier in the Facebook group that like, let's not completely give Blizzard a pass for what happened during like the Hong Kong stuff. Was it last year? The year before that? You know, like that was still very much a thing that happened, and like they should be held like responsible for like it was still shitty. You know, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
So there's that whole angle too, but
there's that whole angle, and yeah, we can talk about. Yeah, I don't know. We
don't have to get into that. I mean, like we've already talked about this. Like every corporation is shitty to some extent, and it's just like a matter of like. I guess like what you feel called to like support or not support. Like it's on a personal case by case basis, somewhat, you know. So
yeah,
you know, God be with you. Yeah. If you want to play Overwatch, I'm not gonna fucking smite you.
For sure.
They also announced, we've known that the Diablo 2 remake was happening for some time, but we finally got like a good look at it here. The gameplay looks fucking dope. I have not played Diablo 2. Like I said, I started with Diablo 3 on console. I know that Diablo 2 is like pretty well respected. Like it's in a lot of players' like hearts. I am stoked to get back and play this. It looks great. I don't have much more to say on this, but just like going back and forth between the old visuals and what they've done here, like it looks solid. It looks solid.
I just hope they don't have a scary box, so my mom will let me buy it.
A scary box? What do you mean?
Back in the day when Diablo 3 was out on PC, like in Walmart and stuff, I wanted to check it out because it had the devil on the box and it looked really cool. But now that I'm having to actually walk out and explain
like
this joke to you,
well, I didn't know what you meant. I thought you were talking about something like in the game itself.
Oh my god! Now the joke is dead, so we'll just let it roll.
There's a Reaper on the cover. It's spooky. All right.
It's just spooky. But like, if as a skull hooded guy in the game is called Diablo, like there's so many Midwestern parents.
No,
who are like,
our Christian mothers.
This is
Christian
going
mothers
at my
everywhere. Yeah. Big read over this.
Yeah. I am stoked for the Diablo community. This is cool. Seeing stuff like this makes me want to actually pick Hades up and start playing Hades because I want a good dungeon game. I think that would be fun.
Hades is so good. They also showed off some gameplay for the Rogue character they announced. We got some actual like Diablo 4 gameplay too, and this looks even better than the Diablo 2 stuff in my opinion. This looks smooth as hell. Can't wait. I
agree.
Can't wait for this.
Rogue. I love rogue characters in any sort of game, like fast attack, crit chance, like inject that directly into my veins. That's so much fun. There's a shot in
the cinematic trailer where she stabs this like priest, or it may not have been the priest, it may have been like a monster or something, but it looked fucking, I'm trying to find it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. It's somewhere in here. Go watch the trailer. It's cool.
Yeah, go watch the trailer. Rogues are good. More rogue rogue characters in games. There's a character in Smite, Loki, who he's so broken that if you just like boost attack speed and crit chance, you'll beat anyone in the game. And I love playing him, just trolling people on PvP. It's very fun. It's a good time.
Good shit. Good shit.
And Nintendo Direct also happened, which was neat. There was a distinct lack of Batwa 2, no Breath of the Wild 2 announcement, which is sad.
Yeah, and I'm reading the script at the start of this trailer too that I didn't see before. Please note, due to COVID-19, release dates and other information presented in this video are subject to change. That's good that we're putting that disclaimer in our presentations now.
Nothing to hype an audience like none of this might actually happen. Don't get excited.
Nintendo fans are torn over the latest Direct. On whether or not it was, I guess, good. Seems to be a thing. Some people are saying that expectations were properly set, that Nintendo had said, hey, don't, this is just the first half of this year. Don't get your hopes up about, a new Zelda or Breath of the Wild 2, anything like that. Like, that's not going to be here. I don't know. Maybe I missed that memo. I'm not a super hardcore Nintendo fan myself, so maybe I did miss that tweet at some point. That's very possible. But me going into this, I did not know that it was also just the first half of this year or whatever. So there are a lot of people that I think went into this based on what they knew about previous Directs or like the previous recent Directs from the launch of the Switch, and how like Nintendo just fucking killed it. Like the first year or two, like after the Switch came out, like just with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, like it was banger after banger, and so naturally the Directs were kind of the same, So they sort of set this precedent that these Directs are like these massive sort of things, and I would argue that like that's not something that is sustainable over a long period, or like that the life cycle of any console, like you're just not gonna see that constantly. It can't be bangers all the time, guys. All right. Okay.
Well, I mean, that being said, I think the Nintendo fan base is so weird because had they had Reggie go live on Instagram from his toilet, they would have loved that. So I think that it needs to be taken in with a grain of salt.
It would be incredible because Reggie is no longer with Nintendo.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that
would be an incredible, just hard cut to Reggie on a toilet at some point. Honestly.
Hey guys,
still here, just busy saving GameStop.
Hello, gamers.
God, I miss him. I miss him so much.
Looks over at Reggie poster.
Yeah.
There are a few things in here that were kind of neat. The sort of Mario anniversary stuff for Animal Crossing looks really cute. They're adding in like the little the tubes where you can go onto different parts of your island. That's kind of cool. There is a new Legend of Zelda, I think it's Hyrule Fighters or something like that that we're getting, but it's not. So. Is that a remaster? I wasn't clear on what that was. Oh, and Fall Guys is happening.
It's funny that those were your takeaways from what you skimmed through this, I imagine.
I mean, I watched the entire thing. It's just that it's the difference between like games like we're watching right now, which I know absolutely nothing about, where I was like, okay. I mean, I love little spritey adventure things, so go off, Kings. That to me reminds me of having a DS, and I would go online and Google like the best DS games to get, right? Because I was like such a normie. I had like Mario Kart, right? And some of the suggestions would be like Hakiyoshi's Revenge, and I'm like, what is this? And it's just like pixels. I'm like, I don't know that I want to play this, guys.
Pat says that was DLC for Hyrule Age of Calamity, which came out last year. Pat should honestly be on this episode. I thought about asking you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pat should have been on this to talk about.
He has Nintendo. Much better takes about the Nintendo Direct than we do, being an actual Nintendo fan. But
we're two soccer moms talking about what we understand to be football.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, well, they did score one of those points, which was nice, but. We're like just shooting from the hip on it.
I liked it when he kicked the touchdown.
Yeah. I really liked that. He did so good.
My overall impression is like there's a lot of stuff here for sort of those niche communities, and so I think a lot of people were looking for those big sort of takeaways. And I will say, for like an hour-long presentation, there wasn't enough of those things. Like, anytime you do an hour-long presentation, you should probably have more than just, like, Splatoon 3 being, like, your main thing. Like, there were a couple of big wins that I took from this. I have a list. Like, for me, those would have probably been Mario Golf and Splatoon 3. Like, those were the two main games that looked pretty fucking killer.
Yeah, Mario Golf gonna get me playing a golfing game, man. Let's go.
There was a specific mode, I've already forgot what it's called, but it looked like it kind of meshed like Mario Kart with Mario Golf, and it looks super sick.
That's like, the premise, is that you're racing people to the ball and to get the hole fast enough. Yeah, that's
looks super fun. Looks super cool. I'm super into that.
Ninja Gaiden!
The Ninja Gaiden collection.
Ninja Gaiden, I forgot. Yes,
that's for sure. That is stoke-worthy. That's coming out on more than just Switch, by the way. That's also consoles. They announced a Miitopia port from the 3DS, which, by the way, charging like $50 for that shit.
Are you surprised at all? It's Nintendo. That's what they do.
I'm just disappointed.
That's their bread and butter.
I'm just disappointed. Can we stop doing that, please? You know? Can we stop buying, I guess, ports at full price that have no, like, decent upgrades in any sort of way?
No.
No. No, because people will always be stoked by this shit, but, like...
No.
I think you should absolutely criticize these companies putting out ports for 10-plus-year-old games with no basic alterations or upgrades or benefit besides it's the game and it plays well on this console. Like,
remember? $50, please.
That does take work, and when you port anything, I am sure, and I don't know the amount of work that goes into doing something like that. But
this week on the Dummy Thicc Gamer Show podcast, Jake says that devs don't do any work to port games over and should not be paid at all.
Not what I'm saying.
That's what I got from that. That's what I heard you say.
And then, like, we just heard about Square Enix doing the same thing with the Kingdom Hearts PC ports. Like, each of those puppies are fucking...
Oh, people are big mad about that.
They should be. They should be.
Yeah.
Like, don't misplace your anger and direct that towards the people that are, like, going to buy it. Like, don't hear that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, it's not the fans'
Or the devs. Or the devs. Or the people who work on it. It's the company making that decision.
Companies that are
if I catch... any of y'all yelling at people on Twitter who like designed the menu system, you gotta figure out what you're doing. You're gonna catch all my hands. That's
the old
so
bat.
Yes, you're gonna get bonked. That's dumb. That's very dumb.
Pat says, the actual worst direct was E3 2009. Their big announcements, Wii Music, Wii Sports Resort, GTA, and Guitar Hero on DS, and they closed it out by teasing a logo for Animal Crossing on Wii with no release date or trailer. I watched it live, and I'm still laughing. And he also said, Miitopia actually does have an extra campaign and some extra customization. It's better than you'd expect. Well, fuck me. I'm just going to stop talking because I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I think that you did good.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I think you did.
Shut the stream off! Shut it off! They're going to know!
No, we're looking at the Mario Golf, like, mocap stuff. This is so cool. Nintendo's so goofy. I love them so much for making stuff like this. This is so good. That's going to be so much fun. I want more party games for post-COVID where I can just scream at my younger siblings about how much better I am as I'm, like, long running to the hole as Luigi. Just, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
My sort of point that I was getting at with the Nintendo Direct expectations, though, is, like, I think they need to do a better job at setting a precedent and an expectation for what the Nintendo Direct is and what fans can expect from one. Like, there are so many different kinds of Directs now. We got the Direct Mini. We've got the actual Direct. There are, like, other subgenres of Direct that I don't really fully understand either. But it's
Direct
like,
XL.
Yeah, whatever, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's fair. And, like, we haven't gotten any Breath of the Wild, like, 2 information in, like, 2-ish years. At this point, like, it's fair to expect some sort of tidbit, I think, from that, and we're undoubtedly going to get that from E3. But I don't know. I think better expectations need to be set on, like, what this thing is, and that's the only reason why there are a subset of people, maybe they're idiots, I don't know, that are big mad over what was or was not announced in the Direct itself.
Would it have been better or worse to get like even a little bit of a taste of Breath of the Wild 2? Even if it was like almost nothing. Like think Elder Scrolls.
It would have been better 100% if you just close it out with like, hey, we have one more thing, and it's just like even just putting the title on screen and like some like a quick cut of some gameplay. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah.
You know. But
I think that Nintendo is hesitant to do that just as a culture of a company. Like I don't think that they want to even touch like alpha or beta. And someone please yell at me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that they do that. Like Wakanda, we don't do that here level. Like Nintendo doesn't want to.
They're big on not showing off gameplay and stuff until the thing is actually ready to release.
Right.
And I do think that's a good thing.
Why we didn't get that. So I'm not going to be mad at them for that. And then, you know, but I do agree though that if they were able at all to give us anything, it would have been better than nothing. Like acting like the game doesn't exist until it exists. Like that. I don't know that that's the move either, but.
Hopefully that doesn't mean we're looking at like a 2023 release or something.
I think it's fair to expect late 2022.
My guess it's either, I think it's either like end of this year, like holiday season, and we're going to get gameplay and stuff for E3, or it's going to be early next year. Is my guess.
That's optimistic.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff with COVID has to happen.
I don't think it is. Like we do have the COVID stuff, but it's also like they don't have to rebuild like the development of the first game took so long because they had to like build an engine for that.
It paved a lot of road. Yeah.
And so like the groundwork has already been set, and it's been I think a decent amount of time now since that game is released. Like it's been 2-3 years, you know. So I think the timeline is set for I think the end of this year, the beginning of next year. But you're right. Like assuming the COVID stuff didn't just like fuck you know the devs there, and it may have. It may have. I don't know.
I hope one thing that happened, if they already didn't have it, I hope a lot of struggling game devs got some really nice rigs on the company dime through this last year. That's what I really want to have happened. I hope a lot of 3080s are churning right now on some home system for devs because they worked hard. That's what I hope. But.
Me too. What else do you want to talk about before we head out? I think that's about it for like the major headlines for the last week.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else has
games you've been playing that are not Apex.
I've been playing. I've been playing through Ruiner again on my Switch.
Okay.
It's the game from Devolver. The Devolver digital top-down tournament shooter game. Through the last couple of days, our power was sort of intermittent. We had power outages because of the ice storm that happened. So I was like, I'm going to get a game on my Switch. That way, if the power goes out, I can keep gaming. So I got Ruiner, and it works well. Talk about good ports. I mean, like, I went from playing it on mouse and keyboard to my Switch Pro controller. It's been awesome. I've loved it. And it's nice to just have something to sit on the couch and play. So I've been playing that a lot. The new Stardew Valley update happened, and it has completely consumed Bree's life. She actually bombed our comment section last week last stream talking about it. So she's a happy clam now.
I just want to say I'm surprised that you didn't take Bree and the cats and the dog to Cancun this week.
It's
something
weird.
I would have done for sure. You know,
Ted Cruz actually took my seat on that plane. I was really pissed. Like he was. I was booking a ticket and I just saw that it filled
he beat
up,
you
and
to
I was
it.
like, who the heck got my? Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Man, I love how hard the internet is going in on him.
It brings me so much joy to see everybody just unanimously shit on Ted Cruz's chest for.
It feels like every day that guy wakes up and goes, how can I make more people hate me today? And it's the one thing that he's good at. He always finds something else to do that everyone is like universally, why would you do that? Like in a time where unity is the hardest thing to get, Ted is actually giving us a gift in being someone who's just despicable in every regard. So go off.
But it's also like, man, like conservatives don't give a shit about their constituents. Like they just don't. And they time and time again, like they give you reason to doubt them, you know, or just blatantly like mask off like we don't care. type situations, and this is one of them. And conservatives still like back Ted Cruz, like, and like defend that shit. Like, no. No.
Well, also don't act like there aren't libs that would like die.
100%. Yeah.
Despite like the complete inefficiency, like the Dems 100%. When they control no government are like, oh, I can't do anything, and then when they have every branch of the government on lock, they're like, well, if only someone would do something. It's like that's you. You're the someone.
It's mostly just a politician problem. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. It's generally just like we've set up a system, and I was listening to the most recent preview of Chapo's newest episode that's coming out, and they were talking about how like America is basically just rapidly revealing itself as like not a real country anymore, because if we can't support people on like the basic level of warmth and food, then we do not qualify as like a state anymore. Like Texas is an example of like, you're paying your taxes, it means nothing. Like it's going absolutely to nothing but a war machine of imperialism. Like that's it. Like that's what it's going towards. So why are we shocked when this keeps happening, right? Like why are we shocked when they can't handle COVID or they can't handle a power failure? Like they can't because they can't. So
they can't because all of our money is being funneled into the freaking military for wars that we're not fighting currently. But
yeah, it's just.
And we're shocked when like a pandemic hits and our entire infrastructure just falls apart. Like we just saw this, you know, like last year, and we're shocked that it's happening again when climate change is a thing. And like this is only going to get worse. This is only 100% going to get worse.
And I want to say like, and with that, I'm not trying to be a doomer. Like just adjust your expectation. Like the state isn't going to help you. Work through mutual aid and take care of your community. Like if you stockpile food with the intention to share it with your neighbor. Like the apocalyptic Walking Dead doomsday situation where everyone all of a sudden becomes Rick Grimes is not going to happen. We know that because we just watched that scenario happen in Texas. And what happened? People froze to death in their homes. Like no one becomes a roving vandal. You just have people die quietly in their homes because no one helps them. So help each other. Like it's within our grasp to do it. We're just told to wait on someone else to do it, but you got to do it. Like you got to start doing it. So I mean, like that's the message. Like we don't
rely on the government anymore to help people.
Yeah,
like, but also Biden, you piece of shit, give me my $1,400.
Go. I mean, like, yeah, I'll gladly take a check from the government. That's the bare minimum they could do.
Correct. Yeah.
But I think that we do have a responsibility to one another to at least like make sure our neighbor doesn't starve to death. Like that to me is just a basic human responsibility.
But also Biden, you piece of shit, give me my $1,400.
Right. There's that too. But that's been such like I've really tried to avoid looking at news this week just because of that. Like I can't handle, you have a higher like tolerance for keeping up with stuff on Facebook than I do. Like I can't handle the hourly.
No, I'm miserable. Minute. Like you need to know I am depressed
like,
and like being on Facebook is not a good time, but I'm here and I had a post go viral last week.
That's right. You did.
You want to know? Want to know what it was for? Wasn't Dummy Thicc content. Wasn't the hours that I put into editing any of our videos on our YouTube channel, Dummy Thicc Gamer. Right. It wasn't any of that. You want to know what it was? It was a freaking status about the weather.
It was a sign.
It was like, hey, it's chilly outside. I think 8,000 shares.
No, read your post and I'll give you the Jerry Seinfeld like underlining baseline for it. Because I read the post and I was almost mad about the numbers it was doing.
I was mad about the numbers it was doing.
Your comedic potential far outweighs what you demonstrated there.
8,000 people saw that and had that was a fraction of my social media power. And they have no idea.
It was such a low effort post.
They have all of the posts that have gone viral have been the most low efforts, like just me casually vomiting my thoughts.
This isn't me like
I said,
trying to neg. Right. Like I'm saying like, you're better than this.
All right.
You can do so much more.
Here it is. Ready? I said, bruh, I walked outside and thought, oh damn, it kind of warm today. It's 22 degrees outside. That was it. That was literally it. And then I was inundated with friend requests from conservative moms with like multiple children. I want to know.
That's your brand. That was the brand of humor you put out.
Maybe I'm focusing on the wrong demographic here, Ike. Maybe we need to stop. Maybe we need to pivot and start focusing our content and target conservative Midwest mothers.
Midwestern moms.
Minimum 3 children and a husband named Gary.
We do have an energy about ourselves that begs for someone to come take care of us. So I think that
Maybe. Could be all the mommy milky jokes.
Like we emit this vibe of like, we need to check on him and make him cookies. I'm well aware of the vibe that I give off. I look sleepy all the time. It's because I am. But like, I don't know. Like, maybe
I just want to know. I just want to know what goes through somebody's head. Like when they see like a post with like a ton of comments and shares. I have never once thought, yeah, like I'm gonna send that person a friend request. I want them on my friend list. What goes through somebody's head?
The last friend request I sent, I think, was in like 2015. I don't add anyone on Facebook.
I try to keep a very like narrow, like I want to know you in real life to some extent, or like I want to know, you know, what your politics are at least before I add you.
We should start making those cheesy, like holding the card up of like a blatant lie into the camera stories where like my neighbor Pat has been blind since birth, and like you're like, we're about to surprise him with a pet deer, like content like that, like just the stupidest like complete lies on there that they got that completely scores well with like the mom demographic. They love that stuff. But
Jake begs for the mommy milkies. Also, Jake horrified when moms show up with said milkies.
Oh my god.
All right, that's the episode for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, Ike and I are streaming Halo from 2 to 4 o'clock today. That's in like an hour from now. Be back. We're going to take a break. We're going to eat. We're going to recharge our camera batteries, or I am. And then we're going to play through some Halo CE, starting with that.
Pound some gamer fuel and jump on.
I'm genuinely stoked. I've been looking forward to this for like the last week,
cool.
like no cap.
Yeah,
so
I'm pumped.
See you in an hour. Later, guys.